but we're gonna call it Old Souls and Sage Advice. But really, it's just a couple of old friends that are getting together and hopefully do some good in the world, right, John?
That is correct. Sorry, I'm getting my phone correct here. So, yes, that is absolutely
I
correct.
think it might be that hat that's throwing things off. If you take that off,
I wasn't going to do this until I saw your shirt.
well, I'm Oklahoma. It includes you. I was supporting your victory.
And I am supporting Oklahoma by wearing this because we'll represent the Big 12, Oklahoma in the Big 12 title.
That's what we're down to. I got to be
So I
honest
guess,
with you.
kind of all works out,
Yeah, well, after Bedlam and then last night, I'm just really, I'm not too happy, but I'm happy for you.
I can understand that. And
let me get a ticker up here. You want to, what's the show topic?
The show topic is the art of being thankful.
I'm going to show that up. Now, we're doing long format stuff on the show right now. So later, when we have things that are happening. Okay. We'll have a live audience going later that people can, tune in to the show live, especially when we get the TikTok channel going. That's a lot of kind of live question and answer, that kind of stuff. But the different medias provide for different things that are going on. And this portion of what we're doing is creating longer format rewatch. So we're not really looking to go viral. We're not really looking for a bunch of participation. What we're really looking for is to create content that is interesting to some people.
Correct.
And as they share it and they rewatch it, then somebody gets helped along the way. And it used to be back in our age, John, people would watch TV and be entertained by TV and media. And now the media has reached a situation where there's a different standard, and it's edutainment. We need to educate. We need to educate and entertain at the same time. And today's Gen Zs, millennials, the X people, even some of us boomers, we are demanding a higher standard in our media. And that means give me some education value. And I think it's a really neat thing that's happening. And it's bringing back, this, old wives' tales and sage advice and that kind of thing that we used to learn from the other generation sitting around the kitchen and that kind of thing. We kind of lost it in the video game generation, and everybody got lost in the social media. But now the social media is bringing it back, and everybody's learning those old values.
And I think it's important. I struggle with media kind of in general with some things, because to me, being a journalism major and marketing major, journalism major more, I think of media and I think of mainstream media. And now everyone can be media. And that's good. And it's bad. Because you have people like us that I believe are trying to put out some things that aren't earth-shattering, but they're important, and they're basic life skills and adventures and experiences and all of that. And then there are people that are out there, they're just spreading bad things. And I never want our show to be anything close to that. And if we go on TikTok, that'll be a first, because I've never been on TikTok.
I will lead you to and through TikTok. And a lot of the boomers I talk to have a lot of hate for TikTok, and they don't realize that it is the second largest search engine.
I don't have anything against it. I guess I do because I'm misinformed.
Well, I think we all are misinformed about everything until we delve into it, make our own opinion. And like you said, John, hopefully our show is only going to be positivity and non-toxicity and everything like that. But we demand what we let in our lives. And, hopefully if there's one thing that this show does, the old guy show, it is one thing that we do. And a young person watches our show and says, I don't have to get molded. I can make up my own
absolutely
mind.
Not. Correct.
If one young person says, "Hey, these guys are making it in the world," and maybe they didn't have such a great upbringing or whatever. If one young person says, "Hey, if these two knuckleheads can be successful, I can do it," and that's my goal for the show. I want kids to figure out what's going on. Also, I'll say right now, the Facebook page for Old Souls is up, and one of the things that we do on these type of shows is teach people how we're building our audience as we go along. And so we start with a Facebook page. We're going to connect a Facebook group to people that are supporting the page, and then after that, if it grows, then we'll have Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and a landing page, a drip email campaign. It all depends on what people need to benefit out of the show. But we have to put one thing in concrete so people can see, when's the show happening? How can I answer? How can I ask a question? How can I do that? And that's the Facebook page right now that we're streaming to. And
this is all just so everybody knows. Mark is the master of all this, and so this is going to be a learning experience for me. Hell, less than a month ago, if you'd have told me I'd have a podcast with Mark, yeah, sure, but here we are. So whatever somebody else learns out of this, I'm learning as well. So it's all good. I'm 73 years old, and one of the things I take pride in, they will say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's crock.
I agree with you fully.
Yeah, that's a crock. I know, well, obviously I know older people, but I've been in many situations with people I think are substantially smarter than I am. And then I'll ask them about something and they'll go, no, I don't do that. No, I have anything to do with the computers. That's why I have a secretary, or let me just show you this. No. I don't want to learn. And that really hinders your development. To me, it really hinders your development as a person. I will probably never know any of this better than a younger person that's grown up with it all, or even Mark, who has been involved with it forever. But I tell you what, I'll end up knowing more than most. And I'm good with that.
And I couldn't agree more with what you're saying, except, I am only a piece of the puzzle.
Oh, I know.
And, I happen to have started a computer company before the internet was invented. And that's an old soul saying. People don't realize I have been doing digital media and marketing before there was digital media and marketing.
Yep.
Nobody's done it longer than me, and because it wasn't invented before that.
Yep.
And so I am always wanting to learn something new. And when I allow myself to interface with somebody, everything becomes better, John. And I'm directed by God, and when God said, call John Faust, check on him, and then all of a sudden all this happened. This was not me,
Mark,
and this was not you. Somebody wants us to be doing something together on the show.
But Mark, when you called God, did he go, oh man, not John Faust again? I get that a lot.
Right.
I'm kind of
it's like back in the day when we worked for Adaptive Adventures, John.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I say worked for. John and I did a charity function every year with our poker club to earn money for these adaptive kids skiing and
not even kids. It is adaptive adventures all across the board, from kids to adults. But people have been disabled at whatever level, and they take them kayaking, on the bike, canoeing, you name it. They have the equipment and the ability to get people out to live life. And you're going to have to help me. What's his name?
Matt Feeney.
Matt, great athlete, great person. They do an outstanding job. And so when Mark brought this up to our poker club, about could we go and help out? And so, we would go and set up a table and we would run a charity poker game. I'm a little bit of a photographer, so it was better for me to go around and take pictures and get pictures back to the organization, and they could use them however they wanted. And that actually ties in with the topic today, the art of being thankful. Because these are the things that you do when you are thankful. Both Mark and I have had different obstacles through the years, probably no worse than many other people, but we've had them and we've dealt with them. We're still dealing with them. And I'm very thankful for my situation. Period. And that's what gets me through hard times. When things are not good, and maybe I'm, kind of feeling sorry for myself on some level, I rarely have to look very far to go, I'm good.
Isn't that the truth, John? That is the truth. The old saying is, if they took all the world's problems and mixed it up in a giant mixing bowl and then redistributed it back out to everybody, almost everyone in the world would take what they had before than the average of what's been, mixed in.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I've always thought Thanksgiving is the best holiday of all, because there's no pressure. I mean, maybe to make the food good, but there's no pressure. There's no presents. There's just people getting together as a family, or family and friends getting together, and people literally being thankful for the things they have in their life. And that's important. And I'll keep the name out, but a family that I would go to Thanksgiving quite a bit, not this year. One of the things they do every year is right before you eat, everybody gets in a circle and they hold hands and they go around, and everyone has an opportunity to say what they're thankful for. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that, hopefully people go to the Facebook page for the show and they look at your tagline for the show, and I would love in the comments if the people that are in the show page would put down what they're thankful for, because the podcast is once a week, but the page is 24/7. And whoever wants to utilize that page, for community, go ahead and spurn off of things that we're talking about on the show. I mean, I put some Yellow Front ads on that page, I think. And if I haven't done it yet, I will. But Yellow Front was an old store back in the day when you grew up poor like me. That's where it was like a 7-Eleven sized Kmart.
Interesting.
And that's where we used to shop for all of our clothes. And it brings back memories of being thankful, that I grew up that way, because I think that God saw something that I was headed for. If I was going to be growing up rich, that wouldn't have been good for me. So everybody remembers that struggle, in their childhood, or not everybody, but a lot of us. And a lot of people don't take time to be thankful for that. I'm glad my dad was an alcoholic. I'm glad we lost everything in 1967. I'm glad we moved out of the country club. And I'm glad that we ended up having to be on the wrong side of tracks in the Littleton area, living in a townhome, because that's what made me have to work, and I was washing dishes at the Northwoods Inn, walking over Santa Fe in the middle of the night. And, if I wouldn't have had to do that, then I probably would have turned out different in life, and maybe it wouldn't have been good.
Well, and and I am the man of many sayings. One of my saying is, adversity is meant to be overcome. And not everybody grasps that. And it's not easy. But you can dwell on it and ruin your life, or you can try to rise to the occasion. And Mark and I have a lot of things in our family history that are saying my father was an alcoholic. And Mark, I think you knew this, but I don't know for sure that you know this. My father was one of the original people in Dr. Pepper.
I did not know that.
Yes, I have it in the other room. I have a 1935 Dr. Pepper glass bottle, and at the bottom it says Clovis, New Mexico, 1935. And you know what it says on the label? Faust.
Wow.
And he ended up going from Clovis to Dalhart, Texas. Then in Oklahoma, my father owned Nesbitt Bottling Company. And I know you've heard of Nesbitt Orange.
Absolutely.
That's my father.
Wow.
But my father was also an alcoholic. And he wasn't the best drunk in the history of the world. And
rarely are they.
Yeah. Well, some are funny. But
are we?
Yeah.
We.
Correct. And he quit drinking and he started drinking again. We still had the bottling company. My parents were going through a divorce, and he got drunk. He fell down some stairs, hit his head. 2 days later, he died of a blood clot because they had not finished the will and all of that. We lost everything to the state for back taxes.
Wow.
Including the bottling company. So we were never rich, but we, had a decent upbringing. Well, all that went to the wayside. Next thing I know, the piano's getting sold, which had no talent, so it didn't make any difference. and we're living in just what you're saying. And I'll just make this one last comment because it makes me laugh. The other day, a friend came over who play some backgammon and whatever, and he had never been to my place. And I just kind of have a regular town home. I do what I do, and I'm happy. And we were talking about upbringing, and I said, I probably shouldn't tell you this because you're going to laugh when I tell you. He goes, what? He goes, the little Ziploc bags, I rinse them out and reuse them.
Of course you do.
And he goes, you're kidding me. I said, nope. I said, I might buy a box of Ziploc bags once every year or so. And he just laughed. And I said, it's just what I do.
And those are, just the peeks into, the different life experiences that people have. And I don't rinse out those bags because they would never be clean enough for my wife. But I feel guilty every time I throw them away.
I'm with you. My standards are, my personal standards of that stuff, I'm sure are a lot lower than your wife. Yeah.
If it wasn't for her, I would be dead many times over from, eating things that were in the refrigerator that are too old to eat.
See, and I think I'm healthy because my immune system has said, you're good.
Yeah, because you ate a bunch of crap that should have killed a rhino.
And you're still alive.
So yeah.
Don't worry about it. So anyway, but
I was doing some financial analysis the other day, and I was doing some, I'm not a financial planner. I don't have any degrees, just my own personal experience of becoming a millionaire. And I try to tell people my experiences. But when I'm coaching people on wealth building and finance, I always go back to, where we are on that median and that mean. And I was doing some research the other day. What do you think a 62-year-old should have in or has in retirement?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What do you think the average or the median?
Yeah, those are two different questions. What should you have and what do people have?
Well, let's deal with what they have. Because we got to think that there's billionaires and then there's people with a negative net worth. So that all mixes together into the average. The mean is actually the person that's in the middle, and there's one person above and one person below.
I'm probably not, the absolute best, seeing how, I lost a business and lost all my stuff and had to regroup and come back. But I would like to think that you would have to, at a minimum, have $500,000 in savings.
Well, here's the deal.
I don't know.
Here's the deal as it is, and I'm sure they'll slay me in the comments on this, but this is just about what I can remember. But if you take an average of everyone in the United States, billionaires to zero, it's 1.188 million in retirement savings.
Wow.
However, if you take the median, it's $225,000. And that is roughly the value of the home that the person has. And that's really where we're at 62. Is 225,000, and the value is in the home.
I would say one thing in this day and age that people, it's a lot easier now for some to take control of their own finances if they choose to. If they're not investing in real estate, or I know some of the things you've done, you're a little more solid on basic things. But people have the opportunity to trade stocks, to do this and that. And to be perfectly honest, for the vast majority of my life, when I was growing up, I didn't even understand what the hell how stocks work.
Well, and I think that's what this show and our message puts out to people is here's what happened to us. And I love coaching young people because if I can get an 18-year-old to put $100 away in a Roth IRA when they're 18 years old, their trajectory and their story changes,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
completely, just because they have that compounding interest and they have that youth on their
Yep.
side.
And there is no question, by the time I got the hang of it, I kind of turned it into something. Then I lost the business, I lost my money, everything. And I did not, honestly, there were times that I did not know if I had the capabilities to rebuild. And I did. And I don't have 1 point whatever million, but at least I have a little bit in savings. And it's a shame that couldn't have stayed steady throughout my life, because I would have exactly what you're talking about. So, but I'm
But the point that we make from our experience, and we show up and say, oh my God, if you have over $5,000, you are better than 1% of the entire world. And that's what we forget. We forget.
That's amazing. And that's never heard that.
Yeah. We forget that if you're warm and you're safe and there's food in your refrigerator, you're better than 1% of the entire world.
Yep.
And, yet you go from feeling like, oh, I should have had more, to, wow, this is crazy, and the technology that us two boomers are talking about, can you imagine rewind this to the 50s and say, hey, you and your buddy in Colorado are going to get on and have a conversation and see each other on the screens. And then you'll be able to share that with everybody the Dick Tracy watch, it's unbelievable what's happening right now. And,
and Mark, what you just said, this is one of the things that my ability to kind of regroup and come back and have what I have. I'm very thankful that I have what I have, even though I know in the big scheme of many people that I know, I'm at the bottom of the pile, but I do have food in the refrigerator. I have a car. It's paid for.
Yeah. Well, I know you're a backgammon player, John. I know you're a backgammon player, but the thing that I always think about every single day is that the kings and the pawns go into the same box after the game is over.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. And that's what I think people don't realize is, this is just a temporary deal, and just because OU blew out a team 73-0 at the beginning of the season, that's one game. That doesn't make for the second or the third or the overall victory.
One game doesn't make a season.
Well, and if you believe the way I believe, this life is one game. So don't get too excited, because we have to go back to the locker room upstairs, regroup. And what you and I are building that is wealth in a true sense is our friendship. And we get to keep that when we leave, our brotherhood. And, we're going to be stronger next time, and maybe next time, you end up being Bill Gates. How are you going to react when you're given everything? I mean, we know how we react when we've been given nothing. How do you react when you've been given everything? Can you stand that test?
Well, and this is so true. And I tell people all the time, if I got paid for the quality of friends that I surround myself with, I'm a rich man. And I am a rich man. I am a rich man because I have surrounded myself with, I mean, we don't have time today to go into it. The people that
we're at the top of the hour.
Yep.
So maybe in the group, you can suggest next week's topic, and maybe that should be it. How do you measure wealth? And
that's good. I like it. Sure.
John, thank you so much for doing this show with me.
Yep.
And I will give you the last 30 seconds before we sign off.
It's great. This worked out good, as you can tell. Regardless of our topic, we get somewhat sidetracked. It's just the hazard of the situation. So you're either going to have to live with it or not. But this is all good because I learned some things today. And I really enjoy that. And when someone like Mark, you know what? Even when someone not like Mark, it could be a guy at 7-Eleven. Sometimes people say things and you go, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And the different perspectives from different people, it's great. And I hope every day that I can learn one or two new things. And I learned something today. Mark, thank you so much.
And if nobody told you that they love you today, we love you. And there isn't a damn thing you can do about that.
I love that saying from you.
Us old guys are going to sign off.
Okay, cool.
Have a good one, John.
Have a great day.